Welcome back everyone to theCUBE's live coverage of MWC26. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE with my co-host Dave Vellante. This is the AI show now, meeting telecom. AI coming to the telecom industry, the infrastructure, the operators, the end user customers, and the enterprise. And the edge is the hottest topic. AI is on the edge. We've got two great guests, NTT DATA and a customer. We have Shahid Ahmed, who's the global head of Edge Services at NTT DATA. Great to see you again. Thanks for coming back on.
Pleasure. And
Jorge Cardenas is the CIO of the City of Brownsville, Texas, implementing one of the state-of-the-art implementations, a great use case that highlights what we think is the future of a converged edge, hyper-converged edge. Great to see you, Jorge, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you.
So first question, Shahid, what is the view of the edge from your perspective? Because you're doing a lot of things that's ahead of the game on the infrastructure side, but as the operators look at 5G, hey, it's fast, but prices are lower than 4G. I got to make more money. So like there's a whole wave of shift into this new way of thinking in the modern era of telecom.
It's all about economics. And here's why. If you look at the IoT value chain, the economics of IoT are very, very low, very priced at almost at a zero, between 0 and 1. If you look at the price of a sensor, it's about 10 cents. Then you look at the cost of a narrowband connection, that's less than 10 cents. And so if you add a GPU, a full-scale NVIDIA GPU, it just throws off the equation. But you still need to solve for AI problems at the edge for IoT. They got all kinds of data there, you want to still leverage AI, but you got to get the economics right. So what do? You got to bring the processing at the edge, and that's what we call edge AI, and it has to be low latency, low power, and low compute. It almost has to be run on a Raspberry Pi, as small as possible. And it also means you got to adjust your language models to a more like a math model or a physics model that require equations to be solved as opposed to be some language that requires billions of parameters.
Yeah.
We're talking only 100 parameters, 1,000 maybe. It's purpose built.
Yeah. But it's still a lot of matrix math, right? Correct. So how do you do all that matrix math without a $70,000 or $80,000 GPU?
Yeah, you still got to do AI transformations, and matrix is the foundation of it. But it is equations. It's math equations. If you think about all those IoT use cases, or even physical AI, what happens when you have robotics and you want to make sure the robot arms are orchestrated with other robots, it's all about kinetics, it's all about physics, and those all are equations. They do require matrix algebra, but it doesn't require a full-blown language. And I think to me, that's key.
We're seeing also the sovereignty and latency parameters come in, because now you have an edge that's balancing the trade-offs between latency and sovereignty, and that has come up a lot because you want that robotics edge, that physical AI, you want the agents. Again, it's disaggregated nodes at the edge. Sovereignty is set up perfectly. Your view on sovereignty and latency, thoughts on that?
Well, I got to tell you, Jorge, what he's doing in Brownsville is all about data sovereignty, making sure all the citizens' data is local and can be exercised, not just by the OT use cases, but also by the citizens themselves.
So yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, explain what you're working on, set the table.
Oh, I mean, I think the case in Brownsville is amazing because Brownsville being the least connected city back in 2017, right, in the nation, and now we have our own AI factory in the city, and I think as he mentioned, having all this data, having all these sensors everywhere, but without that AI at the edge is pretty much a waste of data, and you just have data there that you can't do anything with it. So now we are really pushing to use the AI in our public safety side.
So what has that enabled you to think differently about? Because your implementation with an AI factory, what did that do for you? Did it open up more aperture for services? Did it open up more technical opportunities? How would you explain the impact of having an AI factory?
I think for us the outcome is to improve the quality of life and the safety of the city. So really, what has done for us is that now we are a city that is very proactive and I can see now many cities they're reactive, right? When there's an incident in X street, the police reacts according to a phone call. Well, guess what? Not anymore. We have sensors in the area that will tell me, will predict how and when something's going to happen, and they can react to it, right? So that's the level of how beneficial it is, this technology for us.
So Jorge, you said 2017 you said the least connected, you're very unconnected. What was the impetus to get connected? What was the vision, kind of the North Star? You mentioned safety as one. What were the real drivers for that transformation? And take us through kind of how you've been able to achieve that.
I think the main driver for this, obviously, to get to this technology is to get the city connected. But I think one of the main issues of city is that they don't have the funds, right? And when I say they don't have the funds, is they don't have the funds to bring all the personnel that is needed to support the day-to-day operations of a city. So bringing fiber, bringing private 5G, and then bringing AI to this allows the city to work in a smaller scale when it comes to employees, and we do a lot more. That was mainly the driver.
So paint a picture, if you would, of that infrastructure. You've got AI factories, you've got edge, you've got private 5G. Paint a picture of what it all looks like so our audience can kind of understand visually.
So really it's like I said, 2017, the least connected city. We actually invested the city on ARPA funds is $20 million to deploy 100 miles of fiber optics throughout the city, and then partnered with NTT, so they came in and helped us deploy our own private 5G network to, why? Because we have sensors and cameras everywhere, and without a wireless connection, it's impossible to connect those sensors. It's like point-to-point radios are not reliable, or they're just too far away that you cannot get them connected. So having fiber, having a private 5G, and now having our own AI factory is really, it's an ecosystem of technology that is helping us work a lot better.
So you hyper-converged the edge.
Correct.
With the factory behind it.
Correct. Yes. So I mean, it's really designed in a way that we can really do a lot of things, right? From the workloads to the monitoring to the processing of the information that is happening around the city, and it can only be done in that way.
So would you call yourself an AI operator, AI platform operator?
I think at this point I will say so, because the goal is to bring other cities along, right? And get them to see the power of what we're doing in our city, and hopefully they can start leveraging our own
You're a
technology.
service provider too. You're going to provide services to other cities.
But no question you're an AI factory operator,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's sovereign.
That's
right?
Yeah, that's right.
How does the public cloud interact in any way, shape, or form, or does it not?
No, on this one, on ours, it's all private. Everything is in-house, everything is done in-house, and everything that goes through it and from other areas or businesses will stay in our location.
Where are you in agentic, in terms of using agents to actually work on behalf of humans? Is that
So we
started deep into it, or where are you on the spectrum?
No, we are right now actually doing some with the police force, where on the body cams, where they can actually in real time be asking what is going on and getting alerts and everything in real time. So
explain your rollout, because I think that's fascinating the way you attack the problem or opportunity. You did public safety first. Take us through the hierarchy of the sequence of events.
So the first one, is public safety, again, because the city is so big, right? It's about 160 plus square miles. So, and we don't have enough personnel to take care of all the incidents that are happening. And so we looked at what was the best case or the fastest way to get to that technology, and the one also where the city leadership can actually put the funds on, right? Because it has to be a problem before you get to anywhere.
You got to get the cash.
You got to get the cash. So we showed them all the issues that were happening, and they were able to see, like, this is with the use case of license plate readers, identifying wrong way driving, speeding, aggressive behavior, things like that. Those were the problems, and also illegal dumping. A lot of people were dumping trash in alleys and rivers and things like that. So identifying and catching those individuals was key for the city, because it was a major problem that was costing the city a lot of money to go clean up, to go chase them.
So you have cameras, so inference is a huge use case for you. I can tell from what you just said. Take us through the architecture thinking. Wireless, very critical there, to the backhaul. Take us through kind of how you planned it all out.
And love to know where you guys fit too.
Yeah, so I mean, I can say from the least connected to the fiber, right? I think that was the fundamentals of this technology. Without fiber, without a connection, it is impossible to get to the level of the P5G. And how is it that it really works with this technology? It will be impossible to do what we're doing without the private 5G. Yeah, we can have cameras in the building, but the real problems are happening outside in the city, streets and parks and all that. And this is where the private 5G comes in.
Talk about the headroom, and if you can weigh in too, I'd love to, because I think this shows the flywheel of AI adoption. Get adoption, get some use cases, knock down the budget, clear use cases, get the approval. What other services do you envision? Because now you've got the private cloud or private network. It's going to be multi-tenant, not only public safety, you have business services, user services, you got differentiated services coming in. That's a network concept applied to like apps.
I mean, you could add private AI to it because, I mean, you got to again go back to the economics. Why do we implement private 5G versus public 5G? It's because the economics was there. And they can manage and maintain and provision that network however they want. It's their custom built network. They can increase the capacity, decrease the capacity, they can expand the coverage, reduce it however they want. And that's the key part is to be able to have a living, breathing network that can be adjusted towards all the AI use cases out there.
Jorge, this is interesting because I like that point because it's not just throwing compute at the edge. You got intelligence. You got the private, you can turn it up and down, policy kicks in. What did the factory bring to you for the intelligence? Give some other examples of how that renders itself into scale.
Oh, I think like we just mentioned the public safety, but we got hospitals already reaching out, right, where they want to use our technology for their hospitals. Oh, yeah. We got schools, we know the problem with some of the schools, right? And the other one is the transportation. So the transportation, not just the city transportation, but also all the businesses out there, waste management, on how all this is going to be able to connect and improve their their routes and I guess bring more revenue to those businesses as well.
So if I may add, one more use case, which is actually, I think, one of the most fascinating use cases, is around when a paramedic goes to a scene and they're trying to revive a person, as an example. There's a lot of chaos that's happening. But if they have a camera, much like you can see a lot of public safety folks wear a camera on their chest, the paramedics are doing the same thing, but for a different use case. It's not to monitor the situation or record the situation, but it's really for the AI to kick in.
Training, yeah.
And really, it's about, so much chaos is happening. They don't know if they provided somebody with a injection or a pill or a med, or what was the heart rate when they got to the scene versus now, what was their blood pressure. All of those things are recorded, and they can go back with the AI noting everything, just saying, this is what you did 2 minutes ago.
So you can train the AI on what to look for and then in real time respond.
Tell you,
say, no, don't do that,
don't do that. Don't give him this additional med because you already did that or somebody else did that. And I think to me, that's the most fascinating edge AI, physical AI use case, saving lives when you need it right at the scene.
So how do you do, Jorge, the business case for something like this? There's obviously some hard dollar savings, people dumping trash where it shouldn't be, you guys cleaning up, maybe identify that, et cetera, or stop it. And then there's, I hesitate to call them soft dollars because they're not. You've been talking about saving lives and safety, but how were you able to convince whomever is the funding source to fund this? What did the business case look like?
I think for me, the first thing was to help them identify the main problems the city has, right? And how we can attack those problems by not adding more personnel, but not adding, streamlining a process that is already being streamlined. So just identifying the problem for me and painting the full picture, not just that small, because when you do a project, there's so many variables around it that you need to think about everything and not just that piece. So I painted a picture, I created a roadmap, and they were able to see it, and that's how they were able to fund this project.
So you put in the infrastructure, you guys help with the P5G, and then you light it up with data. How do you decide what to persist? How much of that data do you persist? How does that all work?
I think for me, it's mostly on the use case or the need of any case that is happening for me. So that's how I go about it.
I mean, the way Jorge did this is all business outcome based, or just outcome based in this case. What is it? What problem are you solving? How's that going to impact the community, the citizens? How's that going to impact its own P&L? And those cost savings then go to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's the recipe for all cities, frankly.
Yeah.
What Jorge's doing in Brownsville can be replicated to almost every city in the United States. Every city is struggling with we're not, we all know, budgets are tight, funding is tight.
Yeah.
You just got to do things cheaper, better, faster.
Yeah.
What were the sort of the surprises on the good side, and even on the out of scope expectations on the downside, that looking back?
I think one of the main things that as other cities want to take this journey is really look at the internal personnel and how much they really know about this technology. But even though we have the personnel that is very smart, very, they know about AI, or they have heard, but there's not many people out there that really understand the technology at the level that is needed to scale, right? So I think that's one of the things. But as we went through it, we took our people to a process of learning and actually, now being able to manage that technology.
So were those, who were those people that you really needed to get up to speed? Was it developers? Was it project people? I mean, could you describe the personas that
not just developers. I think on this case, you need the network engineers to know their stuff as well, because the technology is different, right? When you get into a GPU, configuring an orchestrator or a monitoring system, it's different. So you need the network, and also the system administrators need to know their stuff too, because the connections are different than a typical, server. So the whole team, even the help desk, needs to be trained in order to understand how things work. So I'm not just going to say one team.
It's a team effort. First of all, it's a great story. I think what you're doing is a huge example of where the market is going. Final question for both of you is, this industry is changing. You talk about economics. You laid out a great case here. You're living in real time, expanding the scope of services and providing value from first responders to citizens. As the industry moves forward, this is a tell sign. What advice would you share your colleagues, peers watching this as the legacy model moves to the modern hyper-converged era, or this new AI factories at the edge? You got Metro, you got Edge, Far Edge with the wireless radio networks, kind of all coming together and connected with intelligence. What does the industry need to do?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this even, I think, last year, right here, that, look, it's big models, anybody can build big frontier AI models. Not everybody, but that's sort of the recipe, right? You get enough capital, you can go build one. Now the challenge is, and I challenge the whole industry, is to go build smaller models that can run on your computer, on your phone, on a little device that sits there that connects to a bunch of sensors on your factory floor. Try doing that. And then I think, to me, that's where AI comes with scale, and that's where we'll see scale.
Yeah.
Right now, it is highly capitalized.
Yeah.
We talk about bubbles, all kinds of bubbles are happening, whether it's the AI bubble or the SaaS bubble. But I mean, to me, it's just about economics, and it's got to happen at the edge.
Yeah, and the intelligence.
Do you think those frontier model vendors, I mean, they obviously understand this, will go after that opportunity? I mean, I look at XAI and Grok, I think that would actually be a natural with Elon's Tesla experience. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, and some of them are already thinking about it.
Yeah.
Even NVIDIA is building now smaller
right.
chipsets,
World
right?
models, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, look, people are beginning to, companies are beginning to see this. It's almost impractical to run a simple IoT use case on a gigantic GPU.
Yep.
It does not make any sense. Or a gigantic AI model.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's where the world
and the
should
models integrate too. Together they can talk to each other.
And NVIDIA did the deal with Grok with a Q, not Grok with a K, so to your point, I mean, they see the opportunity here, right?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Jorge, what's your take on the industry? What needs to continue to happen? You don't want to stop momentum because you have momentum right now. What is the continuing thing you'd like to see?
I mean, for me, I mean, I would like to see, coming from a local government, I would like to really, challenge those cities out there and really tell them to take a risk and really, start on this journey, because as the technology is moving so fast that if we wait another year, they're going to be way behind, right? Yeah. So I think for me is keep challenging yourself, keep driving change and take some risk.
AI factoring the edge. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing the story. Love, we'll continue to talk to you. Shahid, great to see you. NTT DATA doing a great job at the edge. Thanks for coming on.
Glad we met last night. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I'm John Furrier, Dave Vellante here. Live coverage of MWC26. The AI is coming to networks. Networks are the fabric. They are the unified layer, the control plane for all this new action coming in, and more capabilities and new use cases. We'll keep you covered here on theCUBE. Thanks for watching.